It's your time. It's his time. It's Bam's time. Bam's time to shine. Welcome back to the channel. Let me move my mic a little bit closer so y'all can hear me really well. Welcome back to the channel, man. I'm about to get this video up out the way and probably do it not fast, but I'm gonna bring this video to y'all in a very well detailed way, not just blabbing on, because I know I just be flapping my lips sometimes. Pause if that sounded weird. But anyways, check this out. My camera battery is not that big either, so I'm just gonna get straight to it on this one. So with that being said, if you watch not my last video, but the video I think I dropped on Sunday where I talked about pretty much if you never as a parent, if you never held yourself accountable with your kids, maybe because parents, they know best, but you're wrong in some cases. You're wrong with sometimes what you do and what you might have said, but you never, your form of responding or your form of apologizing was telling your child, like I said on Twitter, I seen a lot of girls saying that, and next time I'm gonna screenshot those tweets, but I'm seeing a lot of girls on Twitter especially, saying that their mother's way of saying I'm sorry was telling them to come eat or something like that. And with that being said, it's like their way. And what I was saying in the previous video was that's probably because that's how it was to them. You get what I'm saying? That's how it was to them. That's how their parents probably said that they were sorry, etc. So with that being said, I want y'all to understand this. It's really just a cycle. I'm gonna go ahead and break it down real deep, and just to show you how deep I am about this. Look, so you see I wrote it real big up there on the video ideas. Why everything starts at home, such accountability. Why the little kid gangbanging at 10, purpose versus success, degrees make us forget the full body of work. All right, boom. So check this out. I want y'all to really understand this. So boom, like I said in the previous video, let's say I have a daughter, right? And let's say I did something, or I might have said something to her, or I was just wrong about something, period, because I'm human too. Just because I'm a dad doesn't mean I'm not gonna be wrong. You get what I'm saying? And I don't go up and apologize to my daughter, like, you know what, I was wrong for that. Like, I'm sorry, like, you're my daughter, I love you, this, that, the third, but I was wrong about that, this, that, and the third. What do you think my daughter gonna do? If my daughter has always grown up in a household where it doesn't matter if you're right, just shut up, and your parent knows best, just shut up. Even if your parent is wrong, your parent knows best. What do you think my daughter can go out and do, right? That's what I said in the previous video, right? Let me ask y'all, can we compare this? Do these two things correlate? Let's say I'm in Chicago, right? Let's say people in Chicago, because people always count that as one of the most dangerous cities as far as like certain areas where you go to. It's probably a good place to live. Just got to live in the right parts. So with that being said, a little kid gangbanging, that's where I put it on the board. The second one, a little kid is gangbanging at 10, right? He in the gangs, he might be in a particular gang his dad was in or whatever. Both his parents was into gangs, drug dealing, all that type of stuff, right? You expect that kid's probably to come out like that, right? If he was never moved away from that environment, if he's been born into that cycle. If he's not playing a sport and a coach was like, you know what, I got to get you away from that because I don't want you to go down that road. I know your parents don't want you to go down that road. They're doing it, but I know they probably don't want you. Like they're gangbanging. They're part of this gang, that gang. They're doing this. They're pushing drugs all over. They're doing everything, right? Toting guns, all that, right? But they got jail time on it. They done did jail time. Maybe maybe years is coming. Maybe they're still fighting cases, etc. I don't think they want that for you. So if they've never had a person to bring them away from that, like a coach, maybe they was playing sports, basketball, football, whatever, baseball. So a coach took them away from that environment and saved them, right? If they never had that, that's all they grew up around. Their parents pretty much let them know, like, this is like that. They just, that's all they grew around. So when you see somebody doing stuff at a young age, and then they grow up into that, it's like, well, what was his parents doing? His parents was doing the same shit. So I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying he was born into that. It's the same thing with that. I personally look at it as the same thing. If I'm a parent and, coming up, my parents never told me, or if you're a parent and your parent has never came and told you like, you know what, I'm sorry. Like they never really held themselves accountable in terms of something with you. Like they've said that they're sorry, maybe because they messed up something or like something. I'm talking about like in a heated situation where they might have been wrong. I'm not talking about just flat out like if they broke something that was yours or they forgot to pick you up or something like that. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Da, 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 da. Like nothing like that. I'm talking about like in a heated situation, like how two people will argue and it comes out you were right and they were actually wrong, but they still try to overpower you because you're the child and you have to respect them no matter what. That's what I'm talking about. So with that being said, if they've always believed or if their parents never said, you know, I'm sorry or held themselves accountable in that type of manner, what do you think the daughter or the son gonna go out and do? It's a cycle. He gonna become a manipulator, a narcissist, all that. He ain't never gonna hold himself accountable. He ain't never gonna, you know, because I feel kids look at that, like especially when they get older, they remember that. Like, bro, my mom never used to like. I'm speaking hypothetically. Like, my mom never used to say I'm sorry. Like in terms of something that like a heated discussion or something that I ended up being right about and she was wrong. I just had like her way of saying I'm sorry was telling me to come eat. Or do you want me to get you something from the store? Like something like that, you know? And me personally, it's not right. Like it's a cycle that I gotta be broken. You can't, cause now, like I said, I look at that as the same as the kid gangbanging at 10. The kid in the gangs in the hood and doing all the street stuff. I look at that as he was born into that. And you do have your percentages of people who come from a 2-parent household, white picket fence, and they choose that route. You do have percentages like that, and that's the route that people look at. Like, why are you doing that? Look at where you come from. Da 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 da. They don't even want to take you serious. And not to get off into that, but just to say they probably do that because their parents probably weren't around. You know, people when they have successful parents, the likelihood of them being around is very, very. You feel me? So it kind of pushed them to that. The type of treatment they weren't getting at home. I'm not saying it's right, but I think that's what those type of kids are thinking. But with that being said, it's the same thing. It's a cycle. Lil bro was born into that. Lil bro saw his parents do that, so he felt like he didn't probably feel like it was cool, but that's all he knew. Just like that. If you have parents who always like in terms of no, I'm right, like silence you as a kid and all that, which you still should be respectful to them. But if they silence you as a kid all the time and you were actually right in a situation, bro, you think you gonna go out? You think that kid is gonna go out as a young man or a young woman and be able to be able to hold himself accountable with his own kids? He ain't gonna be able to hold himself accountable with his own kids, his woman, nobody. Cause he never came from. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but everything, like I said on the board, everything starts at home. It all starts at home. If that's not in the household, what you think he gonna do when he get out the household? What do you think he gonna do? Is bro real shit? What do you think he gonna do? He gonna do the exact same thing they was doing. You gotta break the cycle. Yes, you got good habits from your parents. You got good habits from them. It's a lot of good stuff about them, but they gotta understand that not being able to say yours. I feel no. I know as a young man, it is very important because the kid learns that. Like, damn, like a kid will learn that, and that will help the kid be able to go out into the world and be able to be like, you know what, son, I'm sorry. Like son, that's my fault, son. I shouldn't have even. That like come to you and say, son, that's my fault, or the daughter come to you, or you going to the daughter. I ain't gonna lie, baby girl, that's my fault. Like that's me. I'm sorry. Like. Kids remember that. I'm gonna tell you how we remember it, because there's gonna be some parents watching this that might feel offended. I'm gonna tell you how kids conversate with other kids. Just how y'all conversate with other parents, kids conversate with other kids, whether they be in their 10-year-olds, their teenagers, or even when they're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It doesn't matter. Children I'm not even like little kids, and then the kids get into adults conversate with other people like that. Just how y'all conversate with other parents. So again, if you as a parent, you probably came from a household where, you know, the parent like never really told you that they were sorry. In terms of a discussion that might have got a little heated and you ended up being right. And they never really came to you and said that they were sorry, held themselves accountable, all the above. They had ways of telling you, I'm sorry. Oh, come eat. That type of thing, right? You gonna go out and do the exact same thing to your kids, and it's a cycle. Same thing with the little kid gang banging at a young age, bro. That's all he saw. Y'all might be like, how can you compare that? How can you compare that? That's probably what some people are thinking. I'm gonna tell you how I could compare it. He saw it, he thought it was okay, so now he does it. It's the same, like, it might be a really tough comparison, but it's the same thing in my eyes. I'm gonna say it again. Kid gang banging. No. If you're a parent and you have kids and you rarely or never go to them when you are wrong about something after you guys had a little heated discussion or disagreement. I'm not talking about just saying I'm sorry for, like, maybe you forgot to do this for them or you said you gonna do this or that. I'm not talking about like stuff like that, the little babies. I'm talking about real stuff like that. If you never go to them and say, I'm sorry, you have ways of saying you're sorry you feel because you're a parent, that you don't have to go do that, that they're the child and are supposed to listen to you and respect you no matter what, as they are. But if you feel like you're not supposed to do that and you don't do that, your kid gonna grow up and do the exact same thing. It's a cycle. A kid who's in a gang banging, doing all the street stuff, trying to get all the street credit, doing all this street stuff, he gonna do the exact same thing that he saw people in his family doing. Unless if he gets removed from it. Unless if somebody tells him, like, nah, that's not it, don't do this. Like, if they remove him from it. If he constantly sees that, he's gonna do it. He was born into that. Just like a person who doesn't hold themselves accountable. That's why we have a lot of people who don't hold themselves accountable. It all starts at home. They never saw it at their home. So what do you think they're going to do when they step out of their home? Y'all get at me on the next video, man. Rest in peace to Kari. Peace, X, peace to my grandma. Both our grandmas. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. And I'm out, man. Banter.